ladies and gentlemen. Can you guys hear me all right? Perfect. So, great evening today, and what a host of activities that we've had until now, and I'm sure we're looking forward to the enjoyments of the evening also. This is the last session for the day, so almost there. What a great eclectic mix of people we have today on the panel. And of course, we'll allow a quick introduction. But there's all sorts of experience. There's CIO, there's chief business officers, there's marketing, there's new age brands, all on one dais. So I'm hoping we'll have a very strategic discussion today and give you some useful insights. In terms of our discussion on Omnichannel today, we're going to focus on Omnichannel strategies, not plans. And we're saying there's a difference. So a plan is something where we are even more comfortable. It's things that we are in control in terms of planning for something, allocating funds for it, because these are things that you can do in an office, and that gives you some amount of comfort. A strategy is putting yourself out there saying, we're going to do all these things because opportunities exist, and maybe we will win. There's an element of risk in a strategy, and hence it's different. Some say strategic planning also, but fair, we say it's different. So today we're going to ask all these brands, what do they do? What did they do in terms of strategies? What were the risk factors? How did they surmount them? And what's the learning from it? And what are the strategies that are going to unfold? Yeah, that's pretty much the plan. Sounds good? Great. So without further ado, I'll let our panel introduce themselves. So.
Good evening. Happy to be here. This is Satish Panchapakesan. I am CIO at Arvind Fashions Limited.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bidyut Bhanjdeo. I'm the Chief Business Officer for Ethnics by Raymond and the Head of Sales and LFS for Raymond Apparel.
Hi, this is Amit Arora. I am Chief Information Officer of a fashion brand, Shahi.
Hi, my name is Amit. I am the Head of Digital Sales and Marketing for Asia Pacific and EMEA and Fossil Group.
Hi, I'm from Missfit. My name is Ananya Rajguru and I'm the founder.
Team for Ajio.com.
Hi, I'm Nirav Parikh and I head IT and supply chain for Madura Fashion and Lifestyle.
Hi, this is Sandeep. I work with Bestseller. I've been there with the organization for about 9 years. I've managed different sales channels and currently heading new brands for the organization.
Hello, everybody. This is Prasenjeet, and I work for Carnival. We are a 3-year-old startup, and I am the operations head for Carnival.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll go in this order. Satish, sir, from Arvind. So in terms of Arvind as such, there was now.com. This was a plan to self-disrupt instead of letting yourself being disrupted by marketplaces at the time. Then this went on to working with the marketplaces as of today, where you are sharing inventory. So just wanted to understand what were the decisions that led to now.com? What is it today? How's it going? And then maybe a follow-up question from there.
Sure. So I think the whole idea of now.com was to bring the whole, franchisee of Arvind lifestyle brands, basically US Polo, Arrow, Flying Machine, Sephora, Tommy, CK, and we had a few others, pre-COVID. So to bring all of them into a single, marketplace platform branded as a now.com was the intent because traditionally we have actually sold each of these products through EBOs, perhaps a combination of two products where what was existing in a single store, typically US Polo and a Flying Machine. Otherwise, each one of them were exclusive stores, and then, they were merchandised as separate units. And the only place where you could actually see them together was probably in the LFSs or in the department store, right, in the traditional format. So that was the initial thought process where you bring the whole, franchisee into a single umbrella. And obviously, it is also a place where a customer can experience the product. Some of them, slightly discretionary in terms of price points, at perhaps more affordable old season merchandise discounts. But that was only the starting point. But then slowly it has evolved into almost being 23-24% of our revenue over the last 2 quarters. and even beyond that, we were slightly higher than that. Where a combination of B2B and B2C has led to a scenario where we have exclusive SMUs, online for online kind of merchandise, which are actually making its way because we see an uplift for these categories, being extensively, sought for in the online platform. And so I think from a more traditional to morphing to an online availability of an OSM to a more new season merchandise and an SMUs online for online kind of merchandise, we've come a long way, over the last 6 to 7 years. So that's been the journey so far. Now going forward, obviously, we'd like to have more of online for online type of categories because that is where, your ability to get full prices and have a better realization on the price is much better. And the whole new retail identity that we have put in place for several of our brands, the new relaunches that we have done, for some of our flying machine ranges, all of them, have an online component in perspective, right, before we do these launches. Though some of them might be more visible in store for now in terms of retail identity, but those retail identities soon gets transferred into an online identity as well. Arjun Rampal, for instance, twinning with his screen son for US Polo is a classic example, right? Where slowly you've started seeing that kind of branding both from an offline and an online perspective. So that's the direction forward where customer experiences consistency across the platforms and the seasonality of the merchandise as well.
Sure, thanks. From a follow-up question quickly there. In terms of online to offline, omni-channel, probably one of the first people to do it. But in terms of unification of communication from a customer perspective, unified loyalty, etc., what kind of platforms are you evaluating now to take it to the next level?
Sure. So, see, as such, if you look at it, our customer loyalty and customer campaigns are all of them harvested into a single CRM because almost 60 to 70% of our fulfillment to online happens through our own stores, and our stores are actually incentivized to actually take a heavier uplift of these volumes coming into them in terms of fulfillment. So to that extent, we have a convergence of the data with respect to fulfillment and what gets sold at the store getting into our common CRM systems, and that gives us a mobility in terms of the customer view, right? So that is that's a starting point. Having said that, right? So, but going forward, there is a lot of opportunities. We will be seeing a lot more traction when it comes to marketplaces also having an increased seller positioning from Arvind Lifestyle brand itself, rather it being through another B2B parties. So to that extent, we would like to increase the footprint of what gets sold outside the now.com platform through Amazon or a Flipkart marketplace and have a better visibility of the customer and have a better visibility of the assortments and the styling that we would like to put it, the catalog that we would like to put. So all this is going to significantly improve the customer experience and help us establish a better consistency.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Nikhil Jain is listening very intently when you said Amazon and because Nikhil's from Ajio. Right. Thank you so much, sir. Bidyut bhai. So, Bidyut sir, you're from Raymond's. Raymond's a household name. We've grown up seeing it. You're in so many different verticals: fashion, FMCG, perfumes, deodorants, soaps. Everybody sees the product moving around. For a very old or rather legacy brand like yours, how was the decision made to go online, and when did that come about?
Yeah, so we are a very, very physical kind of a company, and we are known for that. But we realized that the customer is flirting between channels. There's a search happening online. We started off by saying, let's create myraymond.com, where we'll showcase our products. Obviously, when you showcase your products, you have to have a buy now link in that. We started very small, and we really started promoting it through our own stores. But then we realized that the journey is much, much more larger than that. So that is where we started participating in marketplaces, getting into different deals, B2B, B2C both. And the pandemic sort of leapfrogged the industry by 5 years. And we were left with no option in 3 months, we had to be as e-commerce ready as you can be. So I think that helped us. But right now, if you see, we still have myraymond.com where we've integrated the entire CRM into it. We run our entire Omni through it, right? As we speak, we're migrating into a new pass where we'll also connect all our stores as well as our warehouses, right?
To the websites, you mean?
To the websites and
each other.
And each other. I mean, all marketplaces as well as our own website. So that will sort of help us drive better volumes through it. We've seen this entire category grow in the last 3 years by almost 70-80% each year on year. So that's really helped us bring the brand also to the forefront. In the last 2 years, as you know, people really shop more on e-commerce. So that also helped us bring the brand to the forefront.
Sure, thanks. As a follow-up, you said COVID jump-started the journey, but it's a legacy system. So did you take something that is just something disconnected, you could start it quickly, or did you say we'll start something now quick and dirty, integrated on the way, and is that the phase you're going through now? Like, what challenges did you get? Because suddenly to say a legacy system will start talking to all these modern pieces of software and manifest something for the customer, surely something would be left out or deprioritized, etc. So how did you surmount them?
So getting into marketplaces was probably an easier journey, right? It was a ready platter. We sat down with each of the teams. We had our JVPs done and stitched. The bigger challenge was myraymond.com, and we were actually, frankly speaking, not that ready, because that was not really the biggest priority in front of us, because opening more stores, getting more brick and mortar was very important. But yes, we changed our strategy. We said one thing which we did, we started promoting that. There was a time when we used to joke it's Raymond's best kept secret that we have myraymond.com. But so we started promoting it more. We also got into more social media, more digital marketing during that period, where we talked about this entire myraymond.com. And fortunately for us, we have a huge CRM database because of 1,500 plus stores that we have. We have a huge CRM database. So it is easy to actually reach out to that database and take the journey forward. So I think our loyal customers really helped us to leapfrog. So that helped us.
I've heard someone say that if every Raymond customer who has bought from you comes back once in a year, then your annual target is met. Is that true?
No, he comes back 1.7 times actually.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks. That's Amit Arora from Shri. So, Amit, I've seen the websites as well. It's a great site. There's user-generated content, great pictures. There's Insta feed. There's a WhatsApp bot enablement. So, what led to these inputs? I mean, did you just say, let's put all these things together, or something led to these things being present on your site today, especially plugging in your social media and people who bought stuff from you, etc.?
It's a nice question. So I think when you do something, if it is not strategized, I mean, you can just walk blindly, I believe. So our thought was wherever the customers are available, either they are available on Facebook, they're available on Instagram, they're available on WhatsApp. So we should have that platform. We should have that particular
so it is proactive.
widget. Yes, it's a proactive. It's a both inbound or outbound, I believe. So because see, user-generated content always build a credibility in terms of when a new user is coming, he can see like public messages are there on the website. So we are listening to the customers, which is important. And it builds a credibility, it's built a faith in the brand, and I think that's the thought behind this.
Sure, I mean, completely agree. And today, a lot of digitally born brands look to social media for a revenue channel also. I mean, that even though we say it's brand building and there's connection and there's faith, but we also say social media has to have, we'll spend all this money, but we want revenue attribution. So for Shri, is it primary revenue attribution, secondary revenue attribution? Revenue is not the point, brand building is the exercise. What's the view over time? What was the initial view and how has it changed?
See, revenue is something definitely which can be built on it, but I believe that was not our thought. So we thought where the customer is available. See, we had a session before that where the gentleman said India has 9% more users active on social media than globally. So the customers are there. and our audience is there, so we should be present there. That's the main point.
What would you advise brands who are pursuing social media or are behind in social media or still dilly-dallying whether we should do it or not?
I think one advice I would like to give that, I mean, instead of following what some other brand has done, you should follow your instincts and what your customers are talking about. See, I mean, you in the Omni-channel, if you have done that, you can return the product at the store. You can buy online, return it at store. See, sometimes it is not feasible at your end. I mean, your infrastructure doesn't allow that. So you need to think, make it simple. I mean, you need to keep it very simple, listening to your customer, what your customer want and what you want to deliver to the customer. That is, and gradually, step by step, you need to take the gradual steps. I think that is important. So you need to be available where your customers are, and you need to follow, and you need to serve them, I mean, as they want to be served. I mean, because nowadays it's not the product they are buying, they're buying the experience, I believe.
Absolutely. I'd love to get other people's thoughts on, what they think about social media also if time permits. But now moving on, thank you so much. So that's Amit from Fossil. So Amit, Fossil's a global brand, from the diverse watches to the collectible watches. We want to own them. If we own them, we cherish them. So hence, I think there's a lot of global mandates which happen with global brands. You can't touch the front end, you can't do anything to the back end, you have to work with a particular platform. Lots of things get fed. So I'm just wondering, what's the digital independence that Fossil has in India?
Oh, a very good question. I think for a global brand, it is also important to understand that Fossil is known for its digital first approach. And when I say digital first approach, we take proud in telling everyone that we are close to a 50% mark in terms of our digital sales, which means digital sales is very high in Fossil.
50%.
And it's not because of COVID. Let me tell this very clearly. It's not because of COVID, because Fossil started focusing on technology well before that. And that's the reason why, as a global brand, we have built a strategy that it's Fossil stack and bridges. So which means Fossil has a stack which has ERPs, which has multiple OMSs, which has multiple front-end systems. But then we have created bridges where we are, which allows us to go in market and explore digital opportunities, which means explore Fossil, be in social commerce, be in C-commerce, conversational commerce, or be it live streaming or any other digital approach that we want to take. We have bridges to connect with various partners, and that's the digital independence that we have from a technology standpoint where we can integrate with multiples.
No, that's perfect. I completely agree. We hear a lot of business saying my offline, especially offline retailers, when they go online, they say, okay, today it's 2%, this year's goal is 4%, next year's goal is 6%. Why should it be anything? It can be anything. It can be 50%. Why should it grow by 2%?
Exactly. You need to just build the technology system such a way that you can reach any number tomorrow.
Absolutely. And it's not like it's been easy for you, though that number has come and that's something you can be very proud of. But you are competing with, let's say, an Apple Watch or a Samsung Watch. So how are you differentiating yourselves in terms of communications? Products, of course, there are differentiations. But in terms of communications, how are you showing any one-upmanship there?
Sure. I think, Jerry, you rightly said, and you started the conversation from there. Fossil follows a 4P strategy. So first is product, second is price, third is place, and fourth is promotional strategy. And it is a known strategy for all brands, right? But how it is different and how we make it different from Samsung or Apple is that we create customer segments. We are available from a product standpoint. We are available in a range of $7 to $400, right? From a place standpoint, we are available on 175 marketplaces globally. We have 30 D2C sites. That's a digital approach. But if you compare it with offline, we are available in all largest stores, all largest concession stores across the globe, right? And when it comes to your promotion, then we create promotions considering the customer, where the customer is, what the customer needs, right? It's not a straightforward hard mark discount that, okay, we want to liquidate the inventory and let's give 50% off to the customers. No. We look at the customer, what the customer needs, right? From a product strategy standpoint or a pricing strategy standpoint, it also becomes important that Fossil started with vintage. We are into collectibles. Fossil is known for its limited edition watches, its collaborations, right? And then we moved to smartwatches. So the strategy remains same throughout. And that's what keeps us different from Apple and Samsung.
Speaking about differentiators, I think your buy online, reserve in store, remarketing, there's a lot of focus on that area from Fossil.
Exactly.
Care to just explain that to
Sure.
us?
As a brand, I think we initiated that conversation that what is the important metrics for us when it comes to omni-channel. When it is a unified customer, then CLTV is the most important metric for us. And when we look at customer lifetime value, then we need to ensure that our repeat rate is on top, right? And that's when all these enhancements, like my fellow colleague said, that buy online and return in store, right? That's one of the options. But then you need to ensure that the guest experience, I'm quoting it, we don't call it customer experience, we call it guest experience. When you treat your customers as your guests and you engage your systems in such a way that it gives endless experience to customer, no matter if he's going to an online store or if he's going to an offline store, he can buy online, return in store, hassle-less process, and then that's where your customer will become your ambassador, and that's how you can increase your repeat rate. For us, it has helped us in recent past and in the earlier past as well. For our repeat rates are already in the double digits. So that's, I think, practice that we follow.
Perfect. Thank you so much for expanding on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Ananya. So Ananya is from Missfit. Now, Ananya, your new gen business, what, 2016, 17 is when we started?
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Okay. So barely just here, already making a mark in the denim and the athleisure, segment as such. So maybe even on this dais, you grew up with more technology available to you, to use as compared with us when we were growing up or at your age. And then you assimilated all of that to create the brand that you did. So why did you take that path for Missfit to start with? We're a digitally born brand kind of a thing. Why did you take that approach? You could have taken any approach. You've gone MBOs, you could have done marketplaces, but you did your own website first and went from there. What led you to take those decisions?
So I think online was the most obvious choice for us because obviously it's a lot easier to launch and we don't have the cost of like a store setup and the initial investment is a lot lesser. So that was one reason why we decided to set up our own website, and we do aim to start retailing with other marketplaces as well. But initially, I think even the whole setup process is a lot, and for a new brand to have such high commissions, it is difficult. So in the past year, we have learned a lot and we have been in touch with a lot of these retailers. So in the next month, you will be seeing Missfit, not just on our website, but on all the multi-retail channels as well.
So what's the plan for the year now? Now that you've already created some brand awareness, etc., you're also going on marketplaces. What are you planning to, or what's your strategy to get through this year, and what do you want as an outcome?
So actually, our approach is opposite of what everyone here in the panel has done. So we want to get into the offline market as well now, because I think it's important to get our products out, and the touch and feel process is still going to be there. So I think in the next 1 or 2 months, we are going to be available in stores as well. And for the next year, we're going to be launching another collection and just be visible in a lot of more marketplaces and accessible to all our customer base.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Please pass it on to... so Nikhil, Nikhil's from Ajio. So Nikhil, Ajio walked into a room with 2 elephants there already, right? In terms of Amazon and Flipkart. And they said, okay, we'll turn this around and we'll also become a dominant force. That's also nothing new. That's also done before. So in today's world, how's it looking? How's the reliance, non-reliance split? And also, if you can talk about, in terms of marketplaces, there are mainly 2 things to do: increase your visibility, increase profitability, reduce returns. These are the 2 things. So what can a brand do on Ajio, differentiated from other marketplaces, which can give them some leverage to improve their sales and reduce their returns on Ajio?
Sure. So covering your first part of the question, which is about reliance and non-reliance brands on Ajio, right? So we are a very aggressive and very greedy as an organization when it comes to bringing more and more options to our customers. Right. We are proud of that, actually. So we want to bring more and more options to the customer. And in last year, we have grown 6% over there. And this year also, we target the same. And thus, we do not really differentiate between reliance and non-reliance brands. It's more about bringing what customers need at the end of it, and what kind of demand we are generating, what they're looking for, and we approach it more from that perspective. Now coming to second part, I think that's very interesting part, which a lot of brands are kind of really interested in, is how to improve sales and how to reduce returns, right? So first, the easier question, which is more about how improve sales, right? So we have a lot of monetization activities which are happening on Ajio. We are kind of, in last year, we have launched multiple things on that front, and in the coming roadmap also, from the technology perspective, right? We are innovating a lot on how brands can come and monetize themselves, right? We are also bringing more social angles to it to make it's give a impetus to the brand to have their presence felt on the platform, because that's one of the concerns, because especially the D2C brands, they tend to say that we get lost between so many brands and which are kind of coming on the platform. So we are working on it, and I think in coming 6 months, we will have much more. But currently also, we have a lot of monetization activities. There are PLAs, there are banner ads, and there are multiple contextual ads which are kind of possible on the platform to boost the sales for the growing brands. The other part, now the second part, which is returns, returns is a very complicated problem for online e-commerce, right? I think everybody is struggling who has kind of put hands into it, right? And returns I kind of classify into 3 major pieces, right? One is the size and fit, although size and fit are both different, but size and fit is one category which causes the return. The second is look and feel and quality of the product, right? Which is the second part of it, where customer takes certain assumptions and when he gets it, he doesn't, kind of thing. And third is a very customer-driven behavior of trials, right? Where he doesn't want to, then he just wants to have 5 options and finally choose one, right? So the last one is something more customer-driven. We leave it out. On the other two, we are doing a lot of initiatives, especially in the size and fit, which is a hassle both for the customer as well as the brands, right? It's not a one-way problem, right? Customers also don't like to get it, return it, again get the second one, and all the get into refund hassle and everything, right? So we are doing a lot there from giving the right feedback. We have a VMS or vendor management system for us, where we are giving a live feedback. We are planning to give a live feedback to brands on what are the top or worst performing items for them on the return basis, right? And what they can do to improve it with the suggestive side of it, which is more AI driven and slightly ML driven logic, which is kind of going there, right? And also from our perspective, it's a very interesting thing, because we have done 26 different experiments from the customer perspective, what we can do different for the customer in last 8 months or so.
Fantastic.
To understand how we can make customer make a better decision. Right?
So I think that's a session by itself someday.
Yes. Sure.
So please pass it on. Mr. Parikh, you're from Madura. So first there was Trendin, then there was ABOF. Now there is a super app or a super site or both. We don't know. So why don't you spill the beans and tell us about that? And also, how are you going to ramp up the not just the technology, but also from a supply chain perspective to meet this new apps and its demands?
Yeah. So super site is actually live. I mean, it's still doing pilots. We will be live with super app in a few weeks. But heart of this entire strategy lies the customer engagement. Okay. We call ourselves the house of brand, and we see our customers buying multiple brands from us on different occasions, different life cycle where he belongs. If I create a site or app where he can seamlessly move between the brands, okay, we'll keep the ethos of the brand different. We are not trying to merge all the brands together. We are actually making it easier for him to browse through multiple brands. What it gives me from that is my data enrichment of a customer, whether he will is brand A, brand B, brand C, it keeps enriching. Okay. It actually gives me a leverage to then service him better, personalize better. Okay. So it is not about creating a marketplace and creating a platform for multiple brands. It's about, if you say in a physical world, it's about creating a mall versus a high street, giving an option to consumer, right? And that's a true sense of Omni that we want to bring in. With that, not that it is not possible with single app, but can I give you a view on a hyper-local? So can I see the inventory in a Indiranagar store and then probably think of visiting that store? Okay. At some point of time, can I integrate my alteration with a local store with what I've bought online, right? So all of them is actually a part of saying, how do I engage with my customer better? How do I get a repeat buy better? And all of them probably is now possible with the technological advancement, because you are now able to track the customer journey digitally far better than what we were doing 5 years back. Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's the idea about the super app, super site, and that's what we are pursuing about saying how do we engage with our current customer better, and how do we.
Is there a
prompt him to-
benchmark that you have or somebody who have learned from already, who has already done this before?
No. As of now, there is no benchmark. I think we'll create our own set of benchmark for that.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Malik, Sandeep Malik is from Bestseller. Sir, you are clearly one of the earliest brands to adopt Omnichannel, to see the benefit of in-store experience, to give iPads to your store staff. All of this, you probably did before most. So what led to taking these big bets when nobody else were taking these big bets? What were the results of them, and what's next for Bestseller?
So coming to the first one, why we went into it and why the early adoption of this. So I think the answer lies in the customer experience itself. I think we deal with Gen Z and millennials, and that is where the customer requirement is, or that is what they want actually. So, and I think, as an industry landscape also, I think earlier online or e-com was more towards discounting and changing the behavior. I think now it's moving more towards experience, moving more towards what selection you can give it to the customer who's coming back to your site or to the store and looking at what's new out there, and not only the pure discount. So I think one, from the selection perspective, because the moment you live your stores, to the moment you live inventory across the country, it becomes easier for the customer and has a far bigger width than what you can actually offer it by sending some stuff to the online partners who can then live the inventory. So that is one part of it. The second part of it is also from the speed of delivery. I mean, that's a major portion of, I would say, customer satisfaction or a customer journey from that perspective, because
Absolutely.
people place an order and they want it very, very quick. So I think with Omni and picking up the store which is the closest to the customer has brought down the transit time. It used to be about 5 to 6 days and now to about 3-4 days, and hopefully in going forward much lesser. So I think that these are the two big reasons from the customer standpoint. And I think the byproduct, and also one of the big reason for any of the organization to go in for, I think it's a very, very big plus that you're able to expose your inventory across the length and breadth of the country. It is no more restricted only to one store, but you can get order from anywhere across the country. So I think adding up that many lakhs of pieces, exposing it to that many more customers, I think that has its own advantages, and you can churn your inventory much faster.
If you had to blow my mind with a couple of metrics, what would you tell us?
So I would say that, okay, if you have to expose about, for every brand, about 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs pieces which is there in the store, right? So you can expose straight away to millions of customers. I mean, I'm sure online partners of the world have huge numbers of customer coming in every day. So you're exposing that inventory to everyone else. Coming to the business and results, and I think that's what you're asking. So if I talk about, I mean, where we started from, we thought maybe it will contribute to about 3 to 4% to start with. And actually we were very much overwhelmed looking at the numbers when it started. It was close to about 8 to 10% of the store sale itself. So that much faster you're actually turning your inventory, that much faster you're actually selling it out. So I think, and it's actually moving up, and in some stores, maybe the small stores where the footfalls are not very, very high, it actually turns out to be about 18 to 20% even in some cases. So I think that helps us keeping the stores fresh. The customer keeps getting the best of the merchandise. Now, you asked me about some of the
Metrics, yeah.
Sorry?
If you can, some numbers. I mean, you already have given us.
So I would not go too much into the numbers. That's for separate discussion sometime maybe.
Sure.
But I think from perspective of, I think you asked what are the key challenges which you faced and what next for us. So I would say that, there are two big challenges which I'm sure every organization and the gentlemen sitting here are trying to solve on a daily basis. One is from the technology part of it, because the moment you want to do store inventory live onto the platform, it's the same inventory which is exposed to the customer who's there, right there in the store, and also to the somebody who's sitting in some other city and looking at it. So having the right inventory and having the right technology partner, I think that is one, and ever-changing dynamics of the business, because this is still at, I would say, a very, very nascent stage and moving forward. So I think that part is still developing, and everybody is learning through the curve and going through the technological advances out there. The second was, of course, the biggest one. Other one was the store adoption. It's a complete change management, not only from process and SOP perspective, not only from taxation perspective, because it goes from some other city, it goes to, different part. But I think from the store staff change perspective, because they feel my merchandise is going out, which is not coming to me as direct sale. So I think those were the challenges, but I think we've way past that. So now everyone understands the benefits of these things. In terms of what next, I think it's a very, very long journey. As I mentioned, it's a very, very nascent stage, I would say. I think possibly I was reading it somewhere, and I think possibly buying it from anywhere, next day delivery would be the short term. Picking up from the store or returning it at the store would be very, very short term, I would say, milestones to be achieved. But I think in long term, I feel it's going to be a completely personalization and probably having an ecosystem around Omni and a customer experience overall. I think that's where the next would be. Of
Fantastic.
course,
I think
years to come.
having crossed these hygiene journeys, now you can envision the next kind of journeys which are going to come as well.
Yeah, so that would be the next. Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, sir. So for our last panelist today, Prasen, you're also from the post-POS or, at the end of the POS.
Post-sale customer journey.
Post-sale customer journey. So how do you connect to the omnichannel ecosystem? What do you do downstream? What goes upstream? How does that help the omnichannel system? If you can quickly tell us, it would be great.
See, we started with a smart receipt concept. We created a unique channel for retailers. Previously it was, so when any retailer onboard our platform, right? So what we first do is instead of giving paper receipt, you give a digital receipt to the customer, and that is like a web link which goes in email, WhatsApp, SMS, right? And we started with Titan doing this, and then we realized it's a transactional SMS, or it's like a purchase that customer has done, right? So the customer tends to open it, see this invoice, and we saw an opportunity on developing this as a platform. So what we did, we added all the elements which a customer experiences online to the offline customers. So for example, if a customer shops, say offline, he gets that receipt. After that, he is able to give the feedback. It's integrated with the CRM and the loyalty system, right? So all the benefits which he can enjoy in an online environment.
Why don't you give us an example? Anybody sitting here using your system?
Yes, I've been lucky, even the ABFRL group, including MFL, they've been using our system from last 2.5 years. A Bestseller is using our system. Bestseller would be a recent example I can say, where what they have done is even if you purchase online and if you purchase offline, the whole post-sale engagement journey is same.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So if suppose if you purchase anything online, after 15 days you get a survey of saying that, okay, how was the experience for the product and all,
post-purchase.
Right? Yeah, exactly. The same thing we have done for the online customers. So he can actually go ahead and view all those things, right?
Fantastic.
So and because it's a web-based platform, so all the integrated systems which are
integrates pretty easily.
Exactly. It integrates seamlessly.
So you're here for the next couple of days?
What?
Are you here for the next couple of days? You're here today and tomorrow?
What? I didn't get the question. Yeah, I'm here for today.
Great. So I think you guys should go meet him if you want to explore this for your brands as well. We're also GreenHonchos. We have a booth right outside. Happy to talk to you here, or you can reach out to us. I'm sure we've exceeded time. So we don't have time for questions? We don't have time for questions. So meet all of us individually. Thank you, everyone. We've been a lovely audience. Thank you, panelists. Thank you very much.